Right now I'm going to try to show you why the area of a triangle is what you probably learned in the past, 1/2 the base times the height. We're going to try to show that to you right now. Well, I've got this drawing already here, but I want you to think of not seeing that upper triangle. Just concentrate on that one. I'm going to find the area of that triangle ABC. Now what I'm going to do is two things. I'm going to make a copy of that triangle. I'm going to flip it over like this, and then I'm going to flip it like that. So I'll flip it both horizontally and vertically, and I position it here. And so the new coordinates, this more sharp pointed corner is C prime here. The B is going to be this point here, B prime, and this point here is A. Now let's come back in here and dot in a line right here, and let's say that's the height of that triangle, and let's say that this is the base of that triangle. Now when I put the two triangles together, can you see that it makes a parallelogram? Well, we already know the area of a parallelogram. The area of a parallelogram is its base times its height. So the base, now think of the whole parallelogram here with these two jammed together, times its height. But wait, our triangle is just half of that parallelogram. So that's why you throw the half in. It's half of the parallelogram that results by jamming these two triangles together. So there you have your formula. Example 1 is going to be a little harder. Let's take a look. We're asked to identify the base. It's easy. It's given as 8. We're asked to identify the height. That's easy. It's given as 3. Now we're to find the area. The area is 1/2 the base times the height. So it's 1/2 8 times 3. And so 1/2 8 is 4. 4 and 3 is 12. So our area is 3. And then it gets hard. We're to find the perimeter. And the problem is we don't know this side. We don't know it. So let's do a little piece at a time here. Let's just take this little triangle right here, and let's just call this X. And so looking at that little tiny triangle with that 3 and that 4, I think you can see very quickly with the Pythagorean theorem we could get this. It's that side's, well, it's a hypotenuse squared minus that leg squared. And so it's the square root of 7, which is about, on the calculator, this is what I get, 2.6457. Now, let's turn our attention to this triangle right here, this one here, because this is what we really want. Let's call this side Z, and this side we already know is 3, and so this side is the whole length, 8, minus this X thing that we just found, 2.6457, and that gives us 5, separate these, 5.3543 when we subtract. Now let's run this through the Pythagorean theorem. Z is equal to the square root of the sum of the squares of these two legs. So we're going to get there pretty quick now. So I think you can see this is not an easy problem. And when we do that Z, we calculate that on the calculator. I think you can try this, but I think we get 6.1375. Now, that's this side. So we got all three sides, and so the perimeter is simply the sum of those three sides. So there's those two. Here's this side, the Z side we just found, 6.1375. And adding all those, I think it comes up to 18.13746. Try it and see. I think you'll get those same answers. Well, look with me at example 2. What we have here is an isosceles triangle. How do I know it's isosceles? The two legs are equal. We have a perpendicular drop that splits this side in two, 2 and 2. Let's identify the base as it asked me to do. So 2 plus 2 is 4. And the height is, oh yes, the height. That's yet to be determined. Well, let's see if we can figure it out. Let's take this little triangle right here, H and 2 and this 7, and let's apply the Pythagorean theorem. So this leg squared very quickly with the Pythagorean theorem is a hypotenuse squared minus this leg squared. So it's the square root of 49 minus 4 is equal to the square root of 45. Now, if we punch that up on a calculator, let me see what I got when I did. It's about 6.7082, give or take a little, about that. So this is our height that was asked for, 6.7082. So we have that. Now let's get our area. The area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So 1/2 the base. The base is clearly 4. The height is this number we got right here. And multiplied out, that gives us this number, 13.4164. Now we're also asked to find the perimeter. The perimeter is simply all 3 sides added together. So that's 7 plus 7 plus 4. And so that would give us a grand total of 18 for the perimeter. Well, example 3, we're going to have to do a little work too to get there, to get our answers of area and perimeter on this one. Let's give the base first. The base is that piece plus that piece, so it's 8 times the square root of 3 plus 2, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And the height, I'm going to have to work. I'm going to have to do some work to figure this out. So let's use this triangle right here. Let's just draw that triangle again. That triangle, that is H right there. Here is the 30-degree angle. Here's a hypotenuse. It's the 30, 60, 90 triangle. So here's what we can say. The sine of 30 degrees, which is a half, by the way, 1/2, is the opposite, H, over the hypotenuse, 8. And so if we cross multiply, the one down here, H is equal to 8 times the sine of 30. That the sine of 30 is a half, and so we're going to get 4 for the height. Now we can start to get something done. The area is what? Well, the area is 1/2 the base times the height. So it's 1/2, and the base is that thing up there, 8 square root of 3. Plus, aren't you glad we got a calculator to help us here? And the height is 4. And when multiplied out, all of that is going to give us 31.7128. Now, we still need to find the perimeter, and we don't know that side. So this is what we're going to do. To find that side, let's do this. Let's come down here, and let's draw a little triangle, that triangle there. So the H is 4. This is 2. So let's call this Z. So that's going to be easy to find with the Pythagorean theorem. It's the square root of 4 squared plus 2 squared. And so that's 16 plus 4 is 20. And so the square root of 20 is 4. Put that on your calculator and you'll find that. 4.4721. And now, finally, for the perimeter is all 3 sides added together. It's just 8 plus these 2 pieces, 8. It's 8 square root of 3 plus 2. That's these 2 little pieces added together, plus this 4.4721 thing. That's this side here. And when all of that is added together, our perimeter should come out to be 28.3285. Okay? So we got our area, our perimeter, our base, and our height as requested.